between the US and China intensifies as Beijing slaps fresh 125% tariffs on American goods against Trump's 145%. Chinese President Xi Jinping's provocative posturing indicates room for negotiations is now rapidly shrinking. Mastermind of the dastardly 26/11 terror attacks, Tahawwur Rana in custody of Indian authorities. Finally, closure for victims of the attack. Trump administration doubles down on its crackdown on legal immigrants as social media accounts are mined and year-old minor offences are picked up as possible grounds for deportations and visa denials. New Delhi response to Mohammad Yunus's objectionable and callous comments about India's northeast region stops transshipment facility for Bangladesh cargo moved to hit Dhaka's exports in the region. And irreparable damage has been done to the US economy under Trump's tariff flip-flop, opines the Atlantic's managing editor Bhumika Turu. Top voice on India Sense this week. Big story on the show this week, Trump's escalating tariff war. The roller coaster ride for global markets and global trade has now stopped for every country barring China, where the tariff war has entered a dangerous phase of tit for tat. China is now charging a whopping 125% additional levy in response to Trump's 145% tariffs that are levied on Chinese goods. As the trade war intensifies, both Donald Trump and Xi Jinping look to make the most of an uncertain and a very fluid situation. This report, viewers, tells you why this is as much about ego as it is about global economics. The next 3 months will change global trade more than the last 50 years, as the Trump administration goes about stitching trade deals with 70 countries to cut trade deficits and bring manufacturing back to America after pausing the tariffs for 90 days. The pause, though, is not for China, as Donald Trump is yet to get the phone call from his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping. Trump's game plan is to isolate its largest trading partner and its biggest competitor. But the catch is, Xi Jinping is working on the exact same game plan to isolate America, to reduce its dependence on Washington and become more self-reliant. For China, the goal is to become self-reliant for critical technologies and high-end tech know-how. For Trump, the goal is to go back 25 years before China joined the World Trading Organization and fire up its manufacturing base once again. In fact, Xi's visit to 3 top Asian economies, Malaysia, Cambodia and Vietnam, is an effort to build a bloc against Trump's tariffs and to insulate their economies. So is the provocative posturing by China that it will not back down. But this who blinks first posturing is about global politics, which threatens to fracture global trade. As both leaders gamble, they hold leverage against the other. Since China is not a democracy, Xi Jinping knows he will be in office much longer than President Trump and needs to just bide his time for the next few years. For Trump, the precarious Chinese economy is enough leverage. America is China's largest trading partner, and disruption of this relationship will hit the Chinese economy hard, where growth forecasts have already been lowered. Globalization has resulted in trade wins for all stakeholders in the past. But in this US versus China standoff, who will be the ultimate winner remains unclear. Well, like all standoffs, all tensions, an interlocutor plays the crucial role of calming tensions. But the biggest casualty of Trump's trade war has been the trust deficit which has left no country in a possible position to act as a trusted mediator between the US and China. Worse still, for both Xi Jinping and Donald Trump, it makes perfect political sense to continue this trade war, which may become worse than the 2017 one, as both leaders have learned from those experiences and are possibly playing on brinkmanship. And viewers, to talk more on this, I'm now joined by Bhumika Tharoor, who is editor at The Atlantic, to talk about what this means in terms of the tariff war that's underway. Bhumika, let me start by asking you, the fact that tariffs have roiled the market, trade war between the world's largest and second largest economies has only worsened. Help us decode the irreparable damage, or do you think there is irreparable damage that has been done to the US economy because of the flip-flop that this week has really seen?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, and actually this morning we saw that China has imposed tariffs against the US now to 125%. And so what I think we're waiting to see now is what happens when you have these two giant, formidable countries in a standoff against each other, right? And what that means for example, for American consumers, what it means for consumers abroad. And presumably in this type of situation, you would hope that the best position to be in for the US, for example, is to then partner with its allies and find ways to then form a stronger barrier against China, or to have more negotiating power that way.
Bhumika, the fact that China has increased their tariffs, the president has even said that he's now not going to back down. This is tough positioning, isn't it? Are you looking at a long, maybe a protracted trade war between the two largest economies in the world?
This is what's going to be, this is difficult to say, but what we know is that, initially Trump was elected largely, or partially at least, because people viewed him as the CEO president, the businessman president. But the reality is that what this has all caused is a lot of uncertainty and instability, and every investor, CEO, foreign government knows that the worst thing for any in any kind of business environment is instability and uncertainty. It means that businesses may be hesitant to grow in terms of hiring, or consumers will kind of clamp down more their spending. They'll be more conservative because everyone's uncertain about what happens next. And I think all of this is going to manifest in the trade war. But when you have people who are spending less, when you have companies who are hiring less, these are all triggers for recession, or these are all warning signs for a recession. So it's possible that that we are engaged in a long trade war. China has been very clear about their firm stance, and they don't feel inclined to, at this point at least, to back down. Trump has made very clear that he feels very strongly about this. But of course, as we've seen, and as has to some extent been the case of the Trump administration, that there's a lot of whiplash. There's a lot of quick turns, abrupt decisions. And so it's true, we currently have a pause for 90 days, obviously, with the exception of China with regards to reciprocal tariffs. But it's to be seen what moves happen in the meantime. But even, and my colleagues have written about this, that even if there is a pause, or there's a temporary reprieve, the lasting kind of sentiments, economics are largely based on human behaviors, and then the lasting sentiments around this will be a lot of trepidation and worry for what might happen. But I think, in this world with so many quick pivots, it's hard to predict, but it seems like people are really, these larger states are rooted in.
Indeed. Indeed. You mentioned about the 90 days. I want to ask you this, that what happens after the 90-day pause? Because there's enough and more uncertainty. What happens? Because 3 months is a very long period, and no one knows what will happen then.
Yeah, I mean, listen, a lot can happen in 3 months, because we've seen a lot happen in the last week. The last week has felt almost like a year. So at this stage, anything can happen. Trump initially signaled that he's open for negotiations. He's not open to negotiations. There's a lot of back and forth. I think what's the mystery is what is moving a lot of the decisions internally. What ultimately was the pressure that felt heavy enough for Trump to change positions? You know, we've heard from different people within the administration that everyone's on board with this decision, and then you know, this is what's great. Trump had the analogy that these proposals and these tariff policies are akin to a sick patient having to take medicine. And so it's going to be terrible for a little bit, but then we'll get through it. But then, of course, very quickly, we saw a pivot and we had pause. So anything can happen within these 90 days. But I think the one thing that's certain is that the stain and the kind of the instability that this has caused has for sure created a lot of uncertainty within people who help keep the economy moving.
And in the midst of this, where do you see countries like India? We are heavily dependent on China, but we're also having America as our largest trading partner.
Yeah, India's in an interesting position. And I think, I mean, this is something a lot of countries are thinking about. The point that I made earlier about the US and its position with allies, I mean, if we, in what seems likely, if we end up in a position where the US is posed against China, the best thing would be to kind of, for the US to build partnerships with its allies that are then beneficial for the allies themselves, who are thinking about their exports and their imports. But we've seen, you know, rhetoric where initially Trump had mentioned he wanted to annex Canada or encroach upon Greenland, and I think it's complicated all around. I'm curious what India's stance will be, especially as this country kind of with different ties or allegiances for various reasons between the U.S. and China. I think that'll be an interesting story to see how it plays out.
All right, let's leave it there, Bhumika. I really appreciate you joining me today as the top voice this week on India Sense. The first wide-angle story on the show. Tahawwur Rana, the man who played a key role in orchestrating the horrific Mumbai attacks of 2008, is finally in India under the heavy cloak of law and order. Wheels of justice may be slow, but they have crushed another pawn of terror. Rana's extradition is not a routine legal procedure. It's a calculated strategic move, a checkmate in a game where India has played with patience, persistence, and precision. He's not just another accused, he's a symbol. His presence in India's custody is a chilling reminder to those lurking across the border, funding chaos from comfort zones in the West, that there is no sanctuary permanent enough to shield them forever. For anti-India elements plotting from afar, whether nestled in the neighborhoods of Toronto or hiding behind advocacy groups in Chicago, this is your warning shot. The message is clear. The long arm of Indian justice will reach you, no matter how many legal smokescreens you hide behind. The net is tightening. This move also underscores a diplomatic masterstroke. New Delhi has shown that it can not only hold the moral high ground, but also pull off complex international maneuvers. And now with Rana in the NIA's grip, the real story begins. One of interrogation and revelation. The walls are closing in, the safe havens are shrinking. This is India telling the world, we do not forget, we do not forgive, and we most certainly do not stop. All right, on that note, I slip into a very short break. Come back on the other side, talk more about the visa agony and possible deportations that hundreds of students in America are facing. We come back and talk more of that. Stay with us.
तू ही तो है जिसकी सच्चाई वाली क्लैरिटी की वजह से मैं आज यहाँ हूँ।
गोल्ड प्लस सिल्वॉक्सी मिरर्स, ऐसी क्लैरिटी कि आपको सिर्फ सच नजर आए, चाहे कितने भी साल बीत जाएं।
How often have you turned away from debates that descend into endless fights? We bring you a show where every question is answered, where every debate finds its resolution, where every story finds its conclusion. where opinions collide but facts prevail, where stories unfold with insights and trust. When the noise ends, the last word begins.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news is here.
More news that matters.
Big exclusive. Tulsi Gabbard.
All the parties should accept their verdict with all humility.
Why the opposition to it? Why taking big steps?
More debates that shake the system. More exclusives you won't find anywhere else. Not just another prime time.
Hello and welcome to the Southern View. I'm Leader Raghav.
This is the news break and I'm Basudha Venugopal.
This is the last word and I'm Maria Shakil.
Left, right and center, and good evening and welcome.
It's a prime time that's unmissable.
Trump's tariff war roller coaster. Will Xi Jinping take the phone call bait? Mohammad Yunus cosies up to Beijing. Bangladesh businesses pay. As a wide-angle story on the show, they came with dreams, not just to study but to innovate, to build, to contribute. Indian students, especially in STEM fields, science, technology, engineering and maths, have long powered the American progress. From Silicon Valley to NASA, their fingerprints are everywhere. But now a quiet storm is forcing many to pack their bags and leave.
I feel very scared. I really came here to study.
Unprecedented things done by this Republican government.
We need to stand up when things like this happen because otherwise they'll keep happening.
In recent weeks, many Indian students have received shocking notices. Their student visas have been cancelled. Reason? Not terrorism, not national security, but petty issues like changing lanes without signalling, a dropped shoplifting charge, or even a 10-year-old incident that was flagged at the airport. Not guilty, yet treated as though they are. AI-driven monitoring, remnants of Trump-era immigration crackdowns, and sudden national security interpretations have turned academic institutions into pressure cookers for international students. More than 80 universities have been impacted. Students from top schools with spotless academic creds now face deportation, often without recourse or a clear explanation, and the consequences go beyond individual careers. In fact, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said last month the State Department under his direction has revoked more than 300 visas. Most of them are student visas. Indian STEM students, as I said, are the backbone of American innovation. If this exodus continues, the US could lose decades of future scientists, coders, doctors, entrepreneurs. Experts warn it may set the country back in both tech and research. Now, viewers, what can students do in such a situation? They need to know the exact reason for their visa issue. They need to reach out to their international student services. They may help with appeals. Hire a qualified immigration attorney, students, if you are in the midst of this. That could make the big difference. Apply for reinstatement using Form I-539 if you're eligible. Stay calm and inform, most importantly. America has long called itself the land of opportunity, but if a single traffic mistake can now cost you your future, is that opportunity still real, is the question. This isn't just about visas, it's now beginning to be a lot about values. Inside story on the show. Is it national security or is it theatrics? Trump's push for a Golden Dome missile shield has the entire US defense contractor industry wait in anticipation. And critics, though, are raising red flags. A new study says the plan is not just improbable, in fact, it may even be scientifically impossible. But that hasn't stopped the billions of dollars to flow in. This report tells you what's exactly the fuss all about.
My focus is on building the most powerful military of the future. Golden Dome missile defense shield to protect our homeland, all made in the USA.
It's the biggest idea no one believes can work, and the price tag is just as massive.
Golden Dome missile defense shield to protect
President Trump's so-called Golden Dome is a sweeping missile defense fantasy that would stretch from sea to shining sea. Its promise to shoot down everything from nukes to hypersonics. But critics say it's chasing shadows with dollar signs.
We have a missile launch detection.
Confirmed. We have missile warning.
Continuous tracking confirmed.
Interceptor launch.
Interceptor onboard targeting active.
The Pentagon is expected to submit plans this week, but according to a landmark report by the American Physical Society, the science isn't just shaky, it's shattering. Boost phase, mid-course terminal intercepts, each phase of missile defense comes with problems more tangled than a barrel of snakes. And the Golden Dome, it would require thousands of satellite weapons in orbit just to handle one North Korean missile. That's not defense, it's science fiction. But is this mission impossible or mission profitable? Defense giants and startups alike smell opportunity. Over 360 proposals have hit the Pentagon's desk. Swarms of AI drones, space lasers, drone blimps. Under Trump 2.0, if it sounds wild, it's on the table. The Golden Dome might never lift off, but Wall Street already has. For America's defense industry, it seems like a golden goose wrapped in red, white, and boom.
All target objects eliminated.
In a stunning rebuke from the judiciary, Pakistan's scorched earth refugee policy has hit a wall. With boots on ground and hearts in hand, thousands of Afghans are now being driven out. Remember, 800,000 have already been deported and sent back to possible executions and their executioners. This report tells you and digs behind the hypocrisy, the horror, and the human toll of these deportations. It's a tale as old as war, but with new levels of cruelty. Pakistan, once the safe harbor for over 3 million Afghan refugees, is now tossing its guests out like yesterday's news. And even those with the legal right to stay, around 1.3 million residential permit card holders, are caught in the dragnet. Despite a crystal clear extension on their legal stay until 30th of June, law enforcement across Pakistan has now gone rogue, raiding homes, arresting women, and throwing families into chaos. They were told they could stay, but on ground, reality tells a different story. The Peshawar High Court has weighed in, slamming the brakes yet again after a similar January on unlawful deportations and demanding that law enforcement keep their hands off legal residents. You cannot move the goalposts mid-game, the judges said in effect, reminding the state that legality still matters even in a land where law often bows to politics. Meanwhile, 800,000 ACC holders, Afghans with another form of Pakistani-issued IDs, have been reportedly already been handed a one-way ticket back to Taliban rule. Among them, women activists, journalists, rights defenders, all being returned to their executioners. These aren't just deportations, they are death sentences wrapped in paperwork targeting the very people Islamabad claimed to protect. It's time to get you the Worldview segment on the show. They say lose lips, sink ships, and this time it's not metaphorical. Bangladesh's interim chief advisor Mohammad Yunus shot from the hip in Beijing, dubbing Dhaka the only guardian of the ocean for northeast India. Delhi has fired back without much delay and not with word. India shut the gates on a vital trade artery, yanking the transshipment facility that propped up billions in Bangladeshi exports. That's not just tit for tat, it's dollars turned to dust. What was meant to be strategic posturing turned into a diplomatic self-goal. As they say, don't bite the hand that lets your goods sail. With China waiting in the wings and India's patience wearing thin, Yunus's motor mouth may have cost Bangladesh more than just face. It's cost them freight, future and friends. A damning betrayal not just of justice but of the very girls Keir Starmer's Labour government in the UK swore to protect. The government promised truth, accountability and justice in the face of horrific grooming gang scandals. But instead, what they've done is nothing. They've shrunk from that promise. Inquiries once declared essential are now little more than just local audits. Underfunded, underpowered and unbelievably timid. The decision to sideline full inquiries reeks of cowardice and political calculation, not compassion. Why? Because the alleged abusers are predominantly from Pakistani Muslim backgrounds, and Labour, terrified of offending key voter blocs, has chosen appeasement over justice. This is abandonment of the worst kind, where justice has been left aside. Well, justice doesn't get scheduled around election optics, but that is what is the case here in the UK under Keir Starmer's government. With that, it's a wrap with this edition of India Sense. Thanks so much for watching.
News is not just headlines, it is what impacts you. And news should never be mistaken for noise. What matters is the reality. Accurate, in-depth, and with the right perspective. For over 20 years, I have been a journalist, and never has clarity mattered more than now. At Newsnight, we go beyond the surface. We dissect the details, challenge the narratives, and bring you the unparalleled clarity you deserve in a world clouded by misinformation. We are bold, we are direct. Newsnight, for the news in your interest. Only on NDTV 24/7.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What is the real picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know Your Company, powered by NDTV Profit Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers.
This by all of these auditors.
Is seeking more information on the trades and the all the transaction which has happened from the exchanges, both NSE and BSE.
The Reserve Bank of India's supervisory officers, they are seeking compliance reports on their foreign currency borrowings by these banks.
The DSS is actively engaging with the Reserve Bank of India to sort of ensure.
Hello and welcome to the Southern View. I'm Veena Raghav. Much lined up this Friday evening, but our special focus this evening on the announcement of a BJP-AIADMK alliance in Tamil Nadu for the 2026 Assembly elections. What does that mean? But first, we'll take you through the headlines we are tracking this hour. China retaliates to US tariffs sharply, increased tariffs on US goods, raising them to 125% in a retaliatory move. Amidst the intensifying trade conflict, President Xi Jinping declares that China remains undeterred and unafraid of the ongoing tensions. The decade-old Karnataka socio-economic survey report is tabled before the state cabinet but is not discussed. A special session on the 17th to discuss it, but observers ask if it still matters. 5, including a minor, arrested after an interfaith couple was attacked in Bengaluru. The man was physically assaulted. The woman in a burqa was threatened. First up this evening, the big political story from Tamil Nadu. It's been on the cards for weeks now and was finally announced by Home Minister Amit Shah in Chennai. The BJP and the AIADMK will fight the Tamil Nadu Assembly elections 2026 as allies. The announcement was made by the Home Minister sharing the stage with the AIADMK chief Edappadi Palaniswamy. It came along with a change of guard at the helm of the Tamil Nadu BJP as the party's much-hyped young leader K. Annamalai, who was a sticking point for the AIADMK, gave way to veteran Dravidian political hand Nayanar Nagendran as president of the state BJP unit. Nayanar Nagendran, who's the floor leader for the BJP in the state assembly, was once an AIADMK leader who served as late Chief Minister J. Jayalalitha's cabinet minister and later moved to the BJP. He's from southern Tamil Nadu and belongs to the powerful Deva community. However, he's not an ideological BJP hand, and the strategy seems to be to bridge the gap and be part of that alliance in Tamil Nadu in spirit. The BJP and AIADMK, along with other parties, fought the 2021 assembly polls as allies and lost to the DMK alliance, but parted ways before the 2024 Lok Sabha elections.
आज AIADMK और भारतीय जनता पार्टी के नेताओं ने मिलकर तय किया है कि आने वाला तमिलनाडु विधानसभा चुनाव AIADMK, भारतीय जनता पार्टी और सभी साथी दल मिलकर NDA के नाते लड़ेंगे। तमिलनाडु के अंदर DMK पार्टी सनातन धर्म, 3 लैंग्वेज पॉलिसी और कई ऐसे मुद्दे उठा रही है। उसका एकमात्र मूल मुद्दों से ध्यान हटाना है। DMK सरकार ने 39,000 करोड़ के शराब घोटाला, सैंड माइनिंग स्कैम, एनर्जी स्कैम, EL कॉट स्कैम, ट्रांसपोर्ट का स्कैम, लॉन्ड्रिंग स्कैम, न्यूट्रिशन किट स्कैम, फ्री धोती स्कैम, कैश फॉर जॉब, रेड सैंड स्मगलिंग और मनरेगा स्कैम। इसके अलावा भी बहुत सारे स्कैम का जवाब पहले तमिलनाडु की जनता को देना चाहिए। तमिलनाडु की जनता स्टालिन और उदयनिधि से एक करप्शन का जवाब मांगती है। तमिलनाडु का चुनाव आने वाले दिनों में DMK सरकार के घनघोर करप्शन, लॉ एंड ऑर्डर का इश्यू, दलितों पर अत्याचार और महिलाओं पर अत्याचार के आधार पर तमिलनाडु की जनता वोट करने जा रही है।
So will the BJP AIADMK alliance work out for both the parties, especially the latter? What are the key issues ahead, and what does Nayanar Nagendran bring to the BJP stable in Tamil Nadu? Joining me this evening, Kovai Satyan of the AIADMK, Narayan Tirupati of the BJP, noted political observers from the state, Dr. Sumant Raman, and senior journalist R.K. Radhakrishnan. Kovai Satyan, my first question to you. It's not often that the AIADMK gets the first question. Given the history of the AIADMK-BJP alliance, the fact that it did not work out both in 2019 or in 2021, is there a wariness in the AIADMK about this? Are there sections opposed to it? And B, does this foreclose any chance of an alliance with the TVK, making Tamil Nadu 2026 a clear three-way fight?
So this is a starting point to answer DMK's false propaganda that AIADMK party is an untouchable by other parties, other regional parties. So I think that speculation and false narrative is busted with today's announcement of association and alliance with BJP. And the most prominent thing is AIADMK will lead the alliance as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned for the upcoming elections is a clear message. And Mr. EPS, our leader, is in the driver's seat. And with respect to the other questions of the rebels and traitors of AIADMK, BJP Amit Shah clearly said that it is up to our leader EPS to take a call, which means that whatever false, fake narratives and speculations that were going around for years in Tamil Nadu with respect to AIADMK and damaging the name and fame of AIADMK is put to rest. Now, moving forward, the biggest challenge is DMK's high anti-incumbency, and they are scrambling for a narrative to suit 2026 in the name of devolutions, in the name of finance, in the name of state rights. These all will be busted once BJP jumps into the force. Anything they points towards the center, it will be busted with facts and merits, wherein on the ground, it will be the promises made in 2021 and how it has failed and the miserable state of affairs and the failure of this governance will be taken forward by AIADMK. Last but not the least, the cherry on the icing will be the ally parties of DMK when they start turning their chances and shift towards moving towards AIADMK. The internal rift between the brother and sister will exuberate in days to come, and DMK will not have it as an easy-going way forward. It is not going to be the game of DMK. It is AIADMK all the way for 2026.
On that note, let me go to the BJP spokesperson on the panel, Narayan Tirupati. Mr. Tirupati, is this a realization for the BJP that an independent identity in Tamil Nadu is unviable electorally, and without the AIADMK, the BJP could prove electorally completely irrelevant?
No. See, BJP has been contesting elections not now. It's from 1980. So you can't see each and every election has got its own situations. So this time we want to oust the DMK, and we were aligned with the ADMK for at least continuously for 5-6 years. But unfortunately, last time during the parliament elections, for various reasons, we contested alone. So we are a political party; they are a political party. Now our goal is one: to oust the DMK, to get the DMK out of power. So we have again we have joined, and Mr. Amit Shah, our Home Minister, made it very, very clear that we will face the elections under the leadership of Mr. Edappadi Palaniswamy in Tamil Nadu, under the National Democratic Alliance, under the leadership of Mr. Narendra Modi nationally. I think we have made it very clear. So there is no need for to say that the BJP has lost its identity, this, everything. We are very happy that we are here to oust the DMK out of power.
All right, you're making that point categorical. Let me go to R.K. Radhakrishnan first amongst our analysts and then go to Sumant Raman. R.K., the fact that this is concretely now a reality, does this mean that we can predict categorically that Tamil Nadu 2026 would be a three-way fight with TVK on the one side, the AIADMK-led alliance along with the BJP on the other side, and the DMK-led alliance on the other side?
Good evening, Veera, and thank you for the opportunity. Let me remind Mr. Narayanan that he has to be part of my webinar tomorrow on delimitation for frontline.
I am.
Please don't run away. Please don't give excuses. I know that
Okay, can we get to the question on the topic right now, R.K. Radhakrishnan, please?
Yeah. So what we see here is, BJP is hitching a ride on the ADMK, and I think it's political suicide for the ADMK to do this. It is, of course, it's a three-way fight. Obviously, any which way it would have been a three-way fight. If you take a DMK alliance, there would have been an ADMK alliance. There would have been a BJP alliance in case that BJP did not form an alliance with the ADMK. And if that was the cus, then obviously TVK, that is Vijay's party, would have moved gravitated towards the ADMK. Three-way fight, it doesn't matter at all. But let us just look at history. We've seen 2006 when the BJP won a few seats in the Tamil Nadu Assembly. It was because it was an alliance with the DMK. In 2021, the next time that it won seats in the Tamil Nadu Assembly, it was again in the alliance in an alliance with the AIADMK. So it's very clear that the BJP does not have the pull to win a few seats in Tamil Nadu. It can only win in in an alliance. Of course, you can extend this and say that okay, DMK is an alliance. why do you not extend this logic to the DMK or the ADMK, which is always an alliance barring 2016? But we all know that the ADMK and DMK vote base in Tamil Nadu is far, far higher than that of the BJP or any other political party. So who gains from this? The BJP gains from this. Who loses from this? The minority votes will obviously go to the other political parties. They will look for options. Maybe Congress and DMK, we don't know at this point, but possibly DMK and Congress, because even last week the work bill, we saw that this may not be the right time to actually have an alliance between the BJP and ADMK, especially at the time the ADMK is very, very well wooing the minority community with a series of outreach and all of that. So my take on this whole thing is that I think it is too early to have entered into an alliance, but of course it gives time to gel and all of that. The only demand that the ADMK placed is that you have to remove the state president. That has been met, and I think that forms the basis for the alliance, and that is a very, very weak basis for an alliance.
All right, that's an important point, and I'll take that to Sumant Raman. Sumant Raman, one of the sticking points was both about the caste combination as well as the sense of who is going to be leading that alliance. As Kovai Satyan started off, he said in Tamil Nadu it's categorical now that the AIDMK will be leading this alliance. Given that this alliance has been struck, what do you believe are going to be the key challenges as you go ahead? Because some of the issues that the DMK has raised are against the BJP and the central government, where the AIDMK has sided with the same position that the DMK has taken. So it would require a little bit of deft handling and a lot of maneuvering between the both sides.
Yes, and I think that's where the Home Minister actually spoke about the common minimum program. So clearly they will have to come up with a common minimum program at some point of time. Sooner they do, the better, because they'll have to. These issues will be raised by the DMK on a consistent basis now. What is your stand on delimitation? What is your stand on 3-language, 2-language formula? What is your stand on NEET? So the AIDMK will have to defend itself. So I think that a common minimum program makes a lot of sense. But having said that, I think this is a logical necessity for both parties. I mean, people are looking at it as if it's something which both of them desperately wanted to do. They have to do it. They have no choice to make 2026 a competitive, tough election for the DMK alliance. This alliance between the AIDMK and the BJP was absolutely essential. Otherwise, it would have been a virtual walkover, because Vijay is a completely untested quantity. Whether he is going to get 5% vote or 10% vote or 20% vote, nobody knows. So I think the issue of wooing minorities does not arise. AIDMK is not going to get the minority vote, even if, even hypothetically, if all the senior leadership converted and became minorities themselves, they would still have not got the minority vote in Tamil Nadu. So there is no logical reason for them to continue to sort of keep the BJP away, saying, in one fine day or not so fine day, the minorities vote, some portion of it will come. So I think that this is a pragmatic alliance. It is a necessary alliance. It is at this point of time not a guaranteed winner. We've still got 11 months to go. They will need to bring on board PMK. They'll probably need to bring on board the NTK as well. And if they do that successfully, and there is no sniping, the way there was when Mr. Annamalai was the BJP president, where he was continuously sniping at the AIDMK leadership, then they would really have a chance to defeat the DMK alliance in 2026. But there are a lot of ifs on the way. Let's see how things play out.
Right, that's an important point that you finally made, and I'll take that first to Narayan Tirupati and then finally give the last word to Kovai Satyan. Given the recent past and what Sumant Raman says is about sniping, the fact that Nayanar Nagendran was from the AIADMK originally and belongs to a caste combination which is more powerful in southern Tamil Nadu, was that the reason for the decision for change of guard? And how does the BJP plan to rebuild the equation with the AIADMK, which has had ups and downs over the last few years?
First of all, I differ with Mr. R.K. Radhakrishnan, because he had said that Mr. Annamalai was changed only because of Mr. Edappadi Palaniswamy. I don't think that is right, because I am not surprised Mr. Radhakrishnan says that, because I am not surprised Mr. Radhakrishnan says that, because he is used to DMK and other parties in Tamil Nadu who have their leaders, only one leader. So they go by that, and BJP is a democratic party, changes their presidents every 3 years, right from the mandal level to district to the state and also the national level. So it is a regular routine for us to have a president every 3 years. Absolutely no problem. As far as Mr. Nainar Nagan is concerned, he has got a rich, political history. He has got definitely, he has got his own credentials in southern part of Tamil Nadu, and he's a very soft-spoken person and also very active personality, a decent gentleman who will be a very big asset to the party. So our equations with AIDMK will be very well, because Mr. Amit Shah had very clearly said today that Mr. Edappadi Palaniswamy will be the leader for the NDA here. In his head, we will be facing the election. So I think it will be very cordial. Whenever we had alliance with AIDMK, the alliance had been intact, and we have definitely tasted success. So this time also it will be the same.
All right, you've said it will be the same. Kovai Satyan, last word to you. What would be the key challenges for the AIDMK in negating issues where you've taken a stand with the DMK, both inside the house and outside, whether it is delimitation, whether it is the NEP, and having an alliance with the BJP at the same time, going to the electorate? What would be the key challenges?
I make it very clear, the ideology of AIDMK and BJP are not the same. But there is a CMP in place. What is a CMP? The point number one is there is a dynasty in the name of democracy in Tamil Nadu. In BJP terms, it is called Parivarvad. So we have to fight that Parivarvad. And there is second thing called Gotala, the corruption. The list of corruptions as read out by Amit Shah, that is there. It is one family which is swindling each and every penny meant to be for the welfare of the state and the people of Tamil Nadu. That's there. There has to be differences of opinion that will be healthier for Tamil Nadu, but AIDMK has never compromised when it comes to people of Tamil Nadu, and we have never changed our stand with respect to language, with respect to NEP, or with respect to work. And knowing this, it is okay with BJP. That's the reason why they have come on board. So AIDMK is in the driver's seat. Anybody who aligns with the AIDMK goes with the ideology, tag the ideology of AIDMK, and understand the leadership style and traits of APS. And BJP has come on board with that understanding, and this will be a smooth sailing going forward.
I wish I could get one last word in from Sumant Raman, but unfortunately we're completely out of time. But I guess the test of this will be in that election in 2026. But thanks very much to all four of you for joining me this evening. From Tamil Nadu politics to another disturbing case of an assault on an interfaith couple in Bengaluru that was caught on camera. A group of 5 men, including a minor, physically assaulted and threatened an interfaith couple sitting outside a park. The police have arrested the accused. But does this again flag rising intolerance in the society? Deepak Bupanna has the details.
In another case of assault on an interfaith couple, a young man was attacked and abused by 5 men when he was found sitting outside a park on his bike with a girl from a different faith. The girl wasn't spared either. She was surrounded and questioned as to why she was with the man. The police have now arrested 5 accused in the case, including a minor. Despite the physical assault being caught on camera, the police claim this was no violent incident.
ಯಾಕೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತಿದ್ದು ಬಂದಿದ್ದು ಅಂತ ಅವ್ರು ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಬೇಕು. ಈಗ ಅದೇ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಗೇಷನ್ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಬೇಕು. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೂ ಕೂಡ ವೈಲೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಯಾವುದೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಅದು ಕೂಡ ನಾವೀಗ ಮುಂದಿನ ತನಿಖೆಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ.
Minister Priyank Kharge told NDTV that they will not tolerate such vigilante acts from any community in a progressive state like Karnataka.
Nobody can take the law of the land into their hands, whether moral policing or anything else. This is not a UP or a Bihar or a Madhya Pradesh. We are a progressive state, and we will not allow such mindsets to creep in.
Over the last few days, we've seen multiple crimes in the city of Bengaluru, be it the rape of a young woman and then a molestation case where the accused is still absconding, and now this case of moral policing. definitely there seems to be a need for strong policing in the state. But instead, we are looking at some loose comments that are coming in from our politicians and the officers involved. At this point in time, while the tug-of-war between the Congress and the BJP and the blame game definitely continues, it seems like ensuring such crimes do not happen is the need of the hour. With video journalist Govind, this is Deepak Bopana for NDTV.
Well, it's a disturbing issue, one that seems to have become perennial irrespective of the community. Joining me now, noted activist Brinda Adige. Brinda, in many ways it reflects the intolerance and vigilante actions in the society which seem to have got sanct in many different ways, irrespective of which community.
You're absolutely right. And this vigilantism is also tacitly supported by some leaders and politicians. Now, who they are, everybody knows. I completely agree with Mr. Priyank Kharge, who says that this kind of vigilante activism, if they might call that, is unacceptable. But that said, who is this police trying to cover up and say that this is not a violent act? Which BNS is he quoting? Which law is he quoting? Is there any kind of a section that says this is a violent act and so you can register an FIR, but this is not violent? So when police speak the language that absolves perpetrators and vigilante groups, that is a bit dangerous, and it is not at all appealing, or neither does it instill confidence in the citizens. It is the job of the police to ensure safety and protection. There is nothing that is charity that they are giving. And if they have been disturbed in a city like Bengaluru, in a state like Karnataka, then it is the job of the police. And if they have not done it, then I think it is time for somebody to register dereliction of duty. He cannot be sitting and weighing intensities of what is violent and what is not violent. If those 5 men have surrounded that lady, anything could have happened over there.
And you can see, Brinda, as you're speaking, this the pictures, the footage is being played on the screens. It is a violent act in any sense of the word. So I would completely agree with you. Go on, Brinda.
I also want to ask the police, what are you waiting for? Is preventing crime not one of your primary objectives? Is that not what is written in your citizens' charter? Now they have come and made a complaint. Is it not your responsibility to register the complaint under the sections that are appropriate and get all of these 5-6 vigilante men over there? Who are you supporting? Who are you afraid of? Because I know for sure that this group of people have some political clout and some leaders who are supporting them. But my police cannot be scared and afraid of anybody, because if you are scared and afraid, then who should the citizens go to? This kind of vigilantism is unacceptable. That is what the minister said. But that is not getting translated into action. Is there confidence built? No. So your job is to build that confidence,
Brinda.
register the case and arrest those fellows.
Absolutely, Brinda. Important points that you made there. Thanks very much for joining us here on the Southern View. We'll keep a focus on this case and such cases elsewhere as well. But that's all we have time for. News and updates continue right here on NDTV. Thanks for watching.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Edge 6T Fusion, India's leading AI smartphone brand.
How often have you turned away from debates that descend into endless fights? We bring you a show where every question is answered, where every debate finds its resolution, where every story finds its conclusion, where opinions collide but facts prevail, where stories unfold with insights and trust. When the noise ends, the last word begins.
गोल्ड प्लस ऑप्टिमिस्टिक रिफ्लेक्टिव ग्लास लगाओ, धूप की गर्मी को दूर भगाओ और बिजली का बिल भी बचाओ।
today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news is here.
Fenesta Windows, beautiful and durable designs. Installation से maintenance की lifelong customer service. आपके घर में Fenesta नहीं है, तो कॉल कीजिए.
Find Finer Fenesta.
More news that matters.
Big exclusive. Tulsi Gabbard.
All the parties should accept their verdict with all humility.
Why the opposition to it? Why taking big steps?
More debates that shake the system. More exclusives you won't find anywhere else. Not just another prime time.
Hello and welcome to The Southern View. I'm Veera Raghav.
This is the news break and I'm Vasudha Venugopal. This is The Last Word and I'm Maria Shakil.
Left, right and centre, and good evening and welcome.
It's a prime time that's unmissable.
Trump's tariff war roller coaster. Will Xi Jinping take the phone call bait? Yunus cosies up to Beijing. Bangladesh businesses pay the price. And why are innocent Indians still guilty in Trump's America?
All this and more only on India Sense with me, Gauri Dwivedi, at these timings on the NDTV network.
News is not just headlines, it is what impacts you. And news should never be mistaken for noise. What matters is the reality. Accurate, in-depth, and with the right perspective. For over 20 years, I have been a journalist, and never has clarity mattered more than now. At Newsnight, we go beyond the surface. We dissect the details, challenge the narratives, and bring you the unparalleled clarity you deserve in a world clouded by misinformation. We are bold, we are direct. Newsnight, for the news in your interest. Only on NDTV 24/7.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What is the real picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know Your Company, powered by NDTV Profit Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers. Stock 80%.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching NDTV. From Tamil Nadu to Uttar High Court judge, meanwhile, granted bail to a rape accused, blaming the survivor of inviting trouble because she drank and went to his house. Now, in both cases, the men faced little action on their utterances, just outrage on social media that they probably didn't even notice. Now, judges, politicians, leaders, people meant to protect and uplift us, making crude, offensive, deeply sexist remarks, and what do they face? Almost nothing. Political parties talk of women's empowerment, but they forget the first rule: respect, not humiliation, not victim blaming, not vulgarity. Tonight we ask, what emboldens such behavior? Why is there no accountability? And how long should Indian women keep fighting just for basic dignity in language? That's our debate. Let's get started. First is actor turned politician, BJP politician Khushbu Sundar joining us. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time, for speaking to NDTV.
My first question to you, you've been in politics for some time and you've also been an actor and you have experienced, called out misogyny multiple times. How do you see a senior DMK minister like Ponmudi making those vulgar comments, not just against women, but also insulting two sects, and be completely unfazed by it? How do parties that claim to empower women, give them free bus rides or income support, tolerate something like this?
I think these men have been brought up on a misogyny mindset. That is all I can say. Because when you look at them, this man, a minister who was a senior education minister, today he's a forest minister, but he still holds the post. I mean, you understand what kind of education he's giving to the people around. When you cannot protect a woman, when you talk so in such an ill manner about a woman on a platform, on a public platform, imagine the kind of mindset they have when they are in private areas, the kind of comments they might be passing, comments they might be passing about women. All I say is it's the upbringing, it's within them. And at some point, they take their position for granted where they feel it's perfectly fine for them to insult a woman because they think it is their birthright to insult a woman.
Also, Ms. Sundar, a lot of us feel that the action taken by the DMK leadership in this case, stripping Ponmudi of his party position, but not of his ministry or party membership, is just token action taken to show that some response is given out because there's a lot of media outrage on this. What would be your comments on this? Why do these men get away so easily?
I think it's more, I would say, you know, when I look at them, I feel they cannot strip them of their positions, especially parties like DMK, because it's not the first time. We have seen him, we have seen other political leaders, we have seen Sendil Balaji, the amount of corruption that has been proved. I think they just don't want to strip them of the powerful position they hold in the ministry, is because I think it's more like, you know, the snake around Shivan's neck. You can't put him down, you can't take him out. It is there. It's anytime the snake can turn around and bite you. So they don't want to do it. There are too many secrets that have been shared with them. I feel that is one position. And secondly, I think that they feel that people have a very, very small memory. They're going to forget about it. This is an incident today. They might pick up something bigger or make a very small issue a little bigger issue. So this issue gets overlapped and they think that people are going to forget about it. What they do not understand is the times are changing. And in today's world, everything is recorded. It's there. Even 20 years later, you can bring it out and say, this is what you have done. So I think somebody needs to tell my chief minister of my state, Mr. M.K. Stalin, that you cannot allow this man to continue the position he holds. Stripping him of a party position is not something what people have chosen. That is given to him, granted to him by you. He as MLA and he chosen to minister today is what given to him by the public. Public chose him as the MLA of the state, of their constituency. And you gave him a powerful ministership. So I think when people choose them, I think it's, and when people demand that he should be stripped of that position, I think the chief minister should take it up and make sure that he resigns from his post. Even if his chief minister doesn't do it, I think Ponmudi, on the grounds of being a man who was born with women in his family, he should take up a moral responsibility and apologize to every woman around and say, I'm sorry for have spoken these kind of words, and I, on moral grounds, resign from my position. Now, you also have to understand that people like DMK, when they talk about being Periyarist, it is not only about insulting Hinduism, a particular faith. They have called Sanatan Dharma as cancer. They have called Sanatan Dharma as COVID and Corona. They have, said that Sanatana Dharma is more like leprosy. They have given every possible name. And today in Ponmudi's action is not only about women. The actions are very clear about two particular castes, which are about Brahmins, Iyer and Iyangars. And in such a bad taste. Now, all these men, they have women at home who very diligently, religiously go to temples, pray. In fact, CM's own wife, she goes to every temple, she prays, she offers prayer. The prayers are conducted at home. She poses with all these namams and sindurs and bindis and kumkumams in front of every temple. Now, do the women of their own family accept these kind of insults to a particular faith? I also would like to ask them, will they ever have the guts to insult any of the minority communities like this? They will not. They dare insult the minority communities because they know what the repercussions are going to be. So you cannot continuously make
a point to insult one particular faith.
Okay. So, Ms. Sundar, I'm also talking to you on a day that the BJP has announced a formal alliance with the AIDMK. The NDA alliance is back in Tamil Nadu. Do you see this alliance, the BJP-AIDMK alliance, posing a tough challenge to the DMK?
Yes, I think the alliance of BJP and AIDMK in Tamil Nadu is a very good news. We all have been looking forward to it. And we're excited for the forthcoming elections in 2026. And we need to put a full stop to do it. The DMK, we have to put a full stop to the atrocities, the kind of corruption we see. It is the most debt-ridden state in the country today, with more than 7 lakh crores debts on them. And they have been borrowing right, left, and center, just putting up allegations and accusations. No work is done, no road work is done, nothing is done. Metro is taking its own time. The water clogging has not solved. The basic amenities have not been provided to the people. And the protection of women and children's safety is zero, right at the rock bottom. So I think we have come together to show the people what actually good governance is about, because we have seen with the Prime Minister winning for the 3rd time straight, a hat-trick, creating a history in Indian politics. And we have a very acute leadership and very efficient leadership in EPS, sir. We have seen the kind of leadership he has shown when AIDMK was in power. So we coming together is something which is very exciting for us. And we look forward to 2026 election to wipe out DMK.
Khushbu Sundar, actor turned politician there, saying that it is Ponmudi himself who needs to resign now. Senior minister who has been stripped of his party position, but of course does not face any other serious action for those vulgar, offensive comments that he made. Also joining us now is Narayan Tirupati of the BJP. We have Khushbu Jain, Advocate Supreme Court, joining us in just a bit. We have Harish Mohammad Ibrahim, political analyst, and we have Kovai Satyan of the AIDMK. To you, Harish Mohammad Ibrahim, first. DMK is a party that has often faced charges of disrespecting, humiliating, dishonoring Jayalalitha. There is a huge, vote bank of women in Tamil Nadu. Women who have voted for Jayalalitha in the past, and now with her gone, there was always this question that who is going to address the needs, the aspirations of women. Clearly, a party like this that has space for people like Ponmudi does not really stand the moral ground to speak to women and say that we really respect you, because this clearly shows not just humiliation but complete disrespect.
No, the same Dravidian party, the same DMK has brought whatever which has to be in favor of women right from its inception. So by taking one incident in account, you can't go ahead and disregard the entire welfare measures, the measures which has been given to the women empowerment by the DMK. And number 2, Mr. Ponmudi's, whatever the speech which has gone out of proportion is unwarranted it is uncalled for, and the DMK government and the ruling DMK party.
No, but Harish, what stops the DMK from expelling him? Because, if women were so important to you, you can't say that we give you money every month, we give you free bus rides. So it's okay to speak like this about you, because if the party was really so serious about hurting the sentiment of women, the party could have expelled him.
Sudha, you as a journalist, you would know the repercussions of getting down some kind of normalcy by taking out someone's constitutional vote. It has certain criteria should be followed, and due diligence will be followed, is which we are hearing for. The first thing, a party deputy secretary in that nature which the Ponmudi holds has been removed. That itself tells the whole story that DMK, how sufficient and how efficient they are going to handle this incident. Even though it is uncalled for, the DMK is standing with the women of this state, and they are making sure to bring every empowerment policy in favor of women to the state of Tamil Nadu. So you can't take this one particular incident and disregard the entire work which has been done right from its inception from 1960s, when the parties have been founded on. And the basic principle is women empowerment is what the DMK stands for.
At least a basic apology from the minister would have, even in some ways, sought to seek to address this issue. But clearly, not just expulsion, not only apology, but a lot of things are missing in this puzzle here. Kovai Satyan, as the most important partner of BJP now, how do you see this? Because your party has been ruled by a female leader for several years. Jayalalitha has also come back to power twice, which is not usual in the state. Does the DMK's utterances, Ponmudi's utterances on women, does it create any social impact? Do you see this having any repercussions on Tamil society?
It certainly has. But this is the DNA and this is the ideological beliefs of DMK and their parent body Dravida Kalagam. Treating women in a derogatory manner, passing lewd remarks on a public rally is not new to DMK. And Ponmudi is not the only guy. If you look at the entire ecosystem of DMK and its members, they go all out. There is one speaker by the name some Shivaji Krishnamurthy. He addresses a public rally. He used to make such derogatory remarks. And he was expelled, temporary expulsion. See, what has happened today is, Stalin was forced to take an action because his sister Kanimoli was the first to condemn it. And knowing that she will take away all the credit, they jumped into action and Stalin rusticates Ponmudi of his deputy chief secretary or whatever the role he is had in the party. And this all will be temporary. After 2 or 3 months time, he will be reinstated with another role. And this is the DNA and this is what Stalin is all about. He doesn't have the spine to act with an iron hand when ministers or any senior leaders make such derogatory remarks out in open. You could have seen how A. Raja made about Sanatan Dharma. His own son Udaynidhi made some remarks about Sanatan Dharma. And they talk about bashing about religious beliefs and faith of one particular religion. It's about the Hindu community. They go all out to defame their beliefs, their faiths and their practices. And they feel that that's their pride. That's what their ideology is all about. The Dravida Kalagam parent body and DMK ideology is all about bashing about one particular religion and faith. That's what they are made up of. And everybody in Tamil Nadu knows this.
Right. Nara and Tirupati, every time I talk to politicians about women empowerment, the language used against women, one thing that they get into in this is whataboutery, because if I talk to a DMK person, he'll say, or a Congress person, he'll say, what about Ramesh Biduri? The only good thing is none of the sitting ministers are speaking like this, but all parties have also had candidates who speak against women. Of course, I know that BJP reprimanded Ramesh Biduri. He lost elections. He's not a minister. What is the BJP doing differently to tell women that it respects them and treats them with dignity?
See, first of all, we should understand that the BJP has got the most number of women members in the entire country. BJP has got most number of councillors in the entire country, women. BJP has got most number of MLAs, MPs, and also now ministers. So we respect women, and we were the one to bring the women empowerment bill. So, see, women reservation bill. So we are right from the day one. We call them as Nari Shakti. So we all know that BJP respects women. Of course, individuals, certain individuals in many political parties do these mistakes, but not a person like Ponmudi, who is a very senior person, who is a very senior minister. Now, removing his party post is laughable. Literally, it is laughable. Because I had not, in fact, I was the one to condemn immediately yesterday itself, and I had registered my protest. I wanted him to get to be arrested and also removed from the ministership. Mr. Stalin should have removed from the ministry because it is not the deputy secretary of DMK. As the DMK's deputy secretary, he did not make this comment. He made this comment being a minister in Mr. Stalin's cabinet. In fact, I appreciate and I welcome what Ms. Kanimoli had done today. She had immediately tweeted, and as Kovi Satyan said, maybe that instigated Mr. Stalin to do that. So, leaders have to be an example. They have to set an example. And any individual commits mistake, whether he is in BJP or Congress or DMK or ADMK, they should be punished. I don't deny that. But who is doing this? This is done by a very senior minister who was also holding a post of higher education. See how he laughs. Shamelessly how he laughs. Shamelessly. And see, this is atrocious. And that has made Kanimoli to come to the stage and say, tweeted. So we are for women empowerment. There should not be any abuse on women. Definitely. We have brought so many laws in India who are all against women. In fact, right from triple talaq, instant triple talaq to many issues, we have done that. So I again, through your channel, I again say I demand the ouster of Mr. Ponmudi from the cabinet and also his arrest.
That's a very valid point. Narayan Tirupati of the BJP there demanding not just Mr. Ponmudi's expulsion from the cabinet, but also asking some very important questions on the nature of respect that we give to women, because the starting point of any empowerment is language. And if you don't respect women in language, the actions are of course, not any parameter to understand that the party respects women. Khushbu Jain, we're also talking about courts here. The lack of respect for women remains a significant challenge, like we're discussing. There are troubling attitudes evident from political leaders to even judges. We saw the Allahabad High Court judge basically pointing fingers at a rape victim, a rape survivor, and saying that, she herself was responsible for the sexual violence that took place. In courts, how do you see this? Because recently we also had the Allahabad High Court judge saying that grabbing breasts is not rape, but predatory stage to rape. And now this recent incident, how do you as a lawyer see this?
See, Vasudha, this is actually a very chilly situation to have today, that today, the age which we are living in, we are talking about such lewd comments, such misogynist statements coming in, and such kind of violence coming in when it comes to women, when it comes to their treatment, when it comes to their position, when it comes to what kind of power do they have. We kept on talking about, I think every party talks about in their agenda when it comes to women empowerment and things like that, but situation do not change. And coming to your direct question, when it comes to courts, see, anybody who is sitting at a position of power, be it politician, be it courts, they are being looked upon by the society. The society look upon them and society follows. Now, when these kind of statements come from people with position of power, that creates a precedent, that creates a standard, that starts that how people will think, how society will start behaving in such a manner. Because when somebody at the power is doing that, it creates that, okay, this is how it has to be and this is how it should be. Coming on the part of when it comes to court, I think making lewd comments or misogynist comments when it comes to women or when it comes to personal comments, I think everybody, including judges, I am way too junior and maybe a lawyer that I should not comment on it. But as a woman, it gives me that power, or it gives me that part that I should say it, that refrain your personal comments when it comes to passing of judgments, when it comes to women. Gone are the days that you have to start talking about those things. That in between part which India has suffered, I think we have to let go of that part and go back to our roots, how India was and
right.
Culture was when it comes to women and when it comes to respect. And I think these kind of insensitive comments or lewd comments is something which everybody at the power, be it courts, be it politicians, be it influencers, be it celebrities, everybody need to avoid, so that society or people do not follow or make this as a normal. This is not normal. And normalizing this itself is one of the biggest crime, because other crimes are visible, but these crimes are making a thought in people, and this is how people want to believe and behave in the society. And getting this out in the society will be the biggest challenge afterwards, despite having as many laws you bring in for women.
Okay.
When the thought process, when the attitude do not change, nothing changes.
Okay. Harish, also the remarks made by Ponmudi are offensive at multiple levels. He's also talking about the Vaishnavites and Shaivites. I understand that Periyar did this at one point. That was a period in history, but this kind of aggressive talk, this kind of acrimony towards any community, and this time it's not just about Brahmins that he's talking about. There are other communities which also hold Hindu faith in in a lot of respect. What is the point of hurting a large section of people to make your own point? Because that's only going to upset a lot of people. That's only going to create more acrimony and disharmony in society.
As I said earlier in my first round, it is not only misogynistic, but it is unwarranted and uncalled for, and the party doesn't stand by it. And that is the reason Chief Minister has took a first stand. Even he is his close friend right from his schooling. He has taken one of the finest steps to make sure the party stands for the women empowerment. The party doesn't hold any kind of discrimination when it comes to race, any kind of race or religion or creed. And the party which stands in the ideology, which holds an equal justice and social justice is their backbone, we will make sure these kind of unwarranted, uncalled for comments which has been raised by any one of them, even if it is Deputy Secretary or even if it is by the lowest cadre, the party will stand by it, and the party will make sure to take a stand which is against of any kind of discrimination is which has been exhibited by the Tamil
But
Nadu
Harish,
Chief
the
Minister and the
minister
party
here that
leader.
we're talking about is showing no sense of regret. Narayan Tirupati wanted to make a point here. What's the larger political message that Mr. Ponmudi was trying to drive here? Because he's also a senior leader of the DMK. Is this something that the DMK believes, this kind of acrimonious way of talking? Do you think this is something that the party believes will try to energize its cadre and something that will be of benefit to the party in the elections that are coming up?
No, but Mr. Ponmudi has been a habitual, abuser of women. So he has been doing this for a long time. My only question is this: as a party president, Mr. Stalin, as a party president, yes, I do accept he removed Mr. Ponmudi as a deputy secretary. I am asking, as a public, as the chief minister of Tamil Nadu, is it not your duty to remove the minister who has made this absurd comments? That's what I am asking. See, you have done it for the party's welfare. Now you do it for the people's welfare. Why you have not done that? You should have removed him by this time. That's what we say. Why you have not done that? You have people who do a lot of corruption. You have people who abuse women. You have people who abuse the religion. See, you cannot see you people in Delhi or northern states. You don't know what was actually spoken by Mr. Ponmudi. You can't hear. As a woman, Vasudha and Miss Kushpu, I'm telling you, my heart goes for people. This is not at all fair. This is not. That is what made Miss Kanimuri to openly tweet. And I think this is not a punishment for Mr. Ponmudi. In fact, Mr. Stalin is trying to save Mr. Ponmudi by still keeping him as the minister. So he should have done that first. Again, I'm requesting, I'm demanding that he should be removed as the minister for the sake of the public, not for the sake of the party. So this is what we say. And there is no message in this. What message he has given? Now, it is something nonsense. No fool will talk like this. I'm telling you, in this era, no fool will talk like this.
Right.
I never attack anyone personally, but this is the first time I say that this is foolish on his part, senseless speech, and I'm really sorry. This has happened in our country. This should not happen anymore in our country like this.
Right. Thank you so much for joining me on this broadcast. Women have emerged as a significant vote bank in the last few elections in India. Despite that, political speeches of leaders across parties, and this time it's DMK, have consistently displayed an aversion against women. Sometimes it's about their bodies, sometimes it's about their accomplishments, and most often it's about putting them on a trial for not being the ideal woman that a man wants. The good thing here is that there are also clear indications that women are making decisions concerning voting and bridging the gender gap of voter turnout, which is why it's important to call out every incident of misogyny and shame the people who indulge in it, and also political parties who overlook the same. With that, it's a wrap on the show. More news and updates on the other side.
Hello, Moto.
Finesta windows, beautiful and durable designs. Installation से maintenance की lifelong customer service. आपके घर में Finesta नहीं है, तो कॉल कीजिए.
Find Finer Finesta.
How often have you turned away from debates that descend into endless fights? We bring you a show where every question is answered, where every debate finds its resolution, where every story finds its conclusion, where opinions collide but facts prevail, where stories unfold with insights and trust. When the noise ends, the last word begins.
That's huge. That is a biggie. It's out of it.
Gold Plus Clear Glass. Far ho ya near, sab kuch dikhe clear.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, We are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news, is here.
More news that matters.
Big exclusive. Tulsi Gabbard.
All the parties should accept their verdict with all humility.
Why the opposition to it? Why taking big steps?
More debates that shake the system. More exclusives you won't find anywhere else. Not just another prime time.
Hello and welcome to The Southern View. I'm Veera Raghav.
This is the news break and I'm Vasudha Venugopal.
This is The Last Word and I'm Maria Shakil.
Left, right and centre, and good evening and welcome.
It's a prime time that's unmissable.
Trump's tariff war roller coaster. Will Xi Jinping take the phone call bait? Mohammad Yunus cosies up to Beijing. Bangladesh businesses pay the price. And why are innocent Indians still guilty in Trump's America?
All this and more only on India Sense with me, Gauri Dwivedi, at these timings on the NDTV network.
News is not just headlines, it is what impacts you. And news should never be mistaken for noise. What matters is the reality. Accurate, in-depth, and with the right perspective. For over 20 years, I have been a journalist, and never has clarity mattered more than now. At Newsnight, we go beyond the surface. We dissect the details, challenge the narratives, and bring you the unparalleled clarity you deserve in a world clouded by misinformation. We are bold, we are direct. Newsnight, for the news in your interest. Only on NDTV 24/7.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What is the real picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know Your Company, powered by NDTV Profit Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers.
Thorough examination of the matter and
IndusInd Bank, as part of its internal review, had found that certain aspects of its derivatives portfolio was not meeting the standard that was set by the Reserve Bank of India.
how often have you turned away from debates that descend into endless fights? We bring you a show where every question is answered.
Good evening, you're watching the news. Here are the headlines. Amit Shah visits Tamil Nadu to bolster the BJP strategy for the 2026 Assembly elections. The BJP and the AIADMK will join forces to contest the polls under Edappadi Palaniswamy's leadership. Nayanar Nagendran, a favoured leader, is set to replace K. Annamalai as Tamil Nadu BJP chief. The National Investigating Agency interrogates Tahawwur Rana, the 2008 Mumbai attacks mastermind. A Delhi court grants 18 days custody to probe the plot that claimed 166 lives. Under tight security, a 12-member team will try and uncover Rana's role and Pakistan's links. A horrific case of moral policing in India's IT capital, Bengaluru. An interfaith couple is harassed. 5 people, those on your screen on the right, are arrested. The US-China tariff war ramps up, with China raising tariffs on American goods to a whopping 125%. And the Indian Air Force successfully drops the Gaurav long-range glide bomb, which hits its target with pinpoint precision about 100 kilometers away. This is a bomb, not a missile. The National Investigation Agency has begun interrogating Tahawwur Rana, a key suspect, the mastermind perhaps in the 2008 Mumbai attacks, after his extradition from the United States. A Delhi court did grant the National Investigating Agency 18 days of custody to question him about the terror plot that resulted in the death of 166 people. The NIA is focusing on uncovering details of Rana's alleged role, his communications, and Pakistan's involvement, with a 12-member team led by a Deputy Inspector General conducting the probe under tight security and surveillance at their headquarters.
Fresh images showing 2611 plotter Tahawwur Rana being handed over to Indian authorities by the United States. This as the Canadian-Pakistani businessman, a key conspirator in the 2008 Mumbai terror attacks, sits inside a high-security cell at this Delhi office of India's premier anti-terror agency, the NIA.
Fresh interrogation and years-old indictment are now peeling back layers of one of the most high-profile cases in India.
Rana has once again put the spotlight on the role of Pakistan's ISI in the 2008 siege of India's financial capital. The NIA says 64-year-old Rana worked with childhood friend David Coleman Headley, a US citizen of Pakistani origin, to support Lashkar-e-Taiba, a Pakistani terror group blamed for.
In a statement, the US Department of Justice said that after the attacks were complete, Rana allegedly told Headley that the Indians deserved it. US DOJ said in an intercepted conversation with Headley, Rana allegedly commended the 9 Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorists who were killed while carrying out the 2611 terror attacks in Mumbai.
In the first statement from the government, Home Minister Amit Shah said Rana's extradition was a big moment for India.
हमारी जस्टिस सिस्टम को हमारी न्याय व्यवस्था को उसे फेस करना होगा। महाराष्ट्र सरकार की ओर से और विशेष रूप से मुंबई पुलिस की ओर से एनआईए को जो भी इसमें आवश्यकता होगी वो सारी चीजें हम देंगे।
Some in the opposition said the UPA government also deserved to be congratulated for the extradition.
और भी अच्छा होता अगर अमेरिकी सरकार हेडली को भी भारत को सपोर्ट कर देती। हेडली को उन्होंने सपोर्ट नहीं किया, उन्होंने प्ली बार्गेनिंग करके हेडली को अमेरिकी जेलों में रखा है, जो पर्याप्त नहीं है।
2008 में होने के बाद 14 तक इनके सरकार थे, कुछ नहीं किया। मोदी सरकार डिप्लोमेटिक रिलेशन में बहुत ही टैक्टफुली हैंडल करके उनको लाया है। अभी क्रेडिट लेने का बात कर रहे हैं।
Over the next few days, the NIA and Intelligence Bureau officials will interrogate Tahawwur Rana to uncover the missing pieces of 2611 conspiracy. Eventually, a fresh charge sheet may be filed with more sections, some of which carry the death penalty. With Anushka and Saurabh, this is Radhika for NDTV.
Tamil Nadu's opposition parties, the AIA-DMK and the BJP, will jointly contest the 2026 state elections under the leadership of the former Chief Minister Edappadi K. Palaniswamy, or EPS. The Union Home Minister, Mr. Amit Shah, announced this in Chennai today. Meanwhile, the Tahawwur leader Nagendran is said to be the Tamil Nadu BJP chief. The two parties, the AIA-DMK and the BJP, had previously worked together. They'd been in an alliance, and they hope to replicate their past successes. Mr. Shah recalled the 1998 Lok Sabha triumph under Jayalalitha, when the BJP-AIA-DMK alliance secured 30 of 39 seats.
आज AIA-DMK
और भारतीय जनता पार्टी के नेताओं ने मिलकर तय किया है कि आने वाला तमिलनाडु विधानसभा चुनाव एआईडीएमके, भारतीय जनता पार्टी और सभी साथी दल मिलकर एनडीए के नाते लड़ेंगे। तमिलनाडु के अंदर डीएमके पार्टी सनातन धर्म, 3 लैंग्वेज पॉलिसी और कई ऐसे मुद्दे उठा रही है। उसका एकमात्र उद्देश्य मूल मुद्दों से ध्यान हटाना है। डीएमके सरकार ने 39,000 करोड़ के शराब घोटाला, सैंड माइनिंग स्कैम, एनर्जी स्कैम, ईएल कॉट स्कैम, ट्रांसपोर्ट का स्कैम, मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग स्कैम, न्यूट्रिशन किट स्कैम, फ्री धोती स्कैम, कैश फॉर जॉब, रेड सैंड स्मगलिंग और मनरेगा स्कैम। इसके अलावा भी बहुत सारे स्कैम का जवाब पहले तमिलनाडु की जनता को देना चाहिए। तमिलनाडु की जनता स्टालिन और उदयनिधि से एक करप्शन का जवाब मांगती है। तमिलनाडु का चुनाव आने वाले दिनों में डीएमके सरकार के घनघोर करप्शन, लॉ एंड ऑर्डर का इश्यू, दलितों पर अत्याचार और महिलाओं पर अत्याचार के आधार पर तमिलनाडु की जनता वोट करने जा रही है।
So it is Mr. Edappadi Palaniswamy who has to explain now what his stand. Now that the Home Minister will be going back and he will be able to speak to the press. I hope they give him the permission to speak to the press. Then I'm sure he can explain now what has changed, what has not changed. Because just a few days ago we heard him saying that he stands with the minorities and he opposes the work bill. And today he has to explain to the minorities of the state what their stand is.
My colleague Sam Daniel has been tracking this huge political development in Tamil Nadu and joins us now. Sam, the relationship between the BJP and the AIADMK has been great at times, not so great at other times. It's been very successful way back in the past, not so successful in recent elections. Why is there a sense now in the BJP that this is the way to go? Does it have any options?
Both sides are desperate, Vishnu, because for AIADMK, after Jayalalitha died, they've been witnessing 3 consecutive poll defeats, and EPS is under pressure to prove that he can steer the party for victory. Without a Dravidian ally for the BJP, there is no chance of winning any assembly seat. They suffered a rout in 2019 and 2024 Lok Sabha elections, and in 2021 too, the alliance did not work. At some point, the AIADMK looked at the BJP as a liability, but now they have no other choice, but they hope that this time people may forget and look at the assembly election, the alliance in the assembly election differently. But both parties are paying a heavy price. We'll have to wait and see how it will work on the ground. The BJP is not making any concessions, the popular demands in Tamil Nadu at all, be it NEET exemption, be it delimitation, be it exemption from the established 2-language policy, nothing. And the AIADMK in that sense has compromised. It has not got any kind of agreement or assurance from the BJP on these issues. And when they announced the alliance today, Mr. EPS was completely silent. And this is being seen as an embarrassment for the AIADMK. What kind of a unity will this bring on the ground between the cadre among these two parties? We'll have to wait and see. In terms of the alliance, it's still a poor match for the formidable alliance the DMK has over the last 3 elections, and we'll have to wait and watch whether the BJP and the AIADMK have any other parties in mind to rope in. It's still 1 year away, a lot can happen. In essence, the election fever in Tamil Nadu has already begun. Vishnu.
We'll leave it there. Thanks very much for joining us. In Bengaluru, a shameful act of moral policing erupted as 5 thugs, including a minor, viciously harassed and assaulted a couple for simply sitting together at the Suvarna Layout Park. This outrageous violation of personal freedom has sparked fury. The Chandra Layout police nabbed the culprits, Mahim Afridi, Wasim, Anjum and a juvenile.
In another case of assault on an interfaith couple, a young man was attacked and abused by 5 men when he was found sitting outside a park on his bike with a girl from a different faith. The girl wasn't spared either. She was surrounded and questioned as to why she was with the man. The police have now arrested 5 accused in the case, including a minor. Despite the physical assault being caught on camera, the police claim this was no violent incident. Minister Priyank Kharge told NDTV that they will not tolerate such vigilante acts from any community in a progressive state like Karnataka.
Nobody can take the law of the land into their hands, whether moral policing or anything else. This is not a UP or a Bihar or a Madhya Pradesh. We are a progressive state and we will not allow such mindsets to creep in.
Over the last few days, we've seen multiple crimes in the city of Bengaluru, be it the rape of a young woman and then a molestation case where the accused is still absconding, and now this case of moral policing. Definitely there seems to be a need for strong policing in the state, but instead we are looking at some loose comments that are coming in from our politicians and the officers involved. At this point in time, while the tug-of-war between the Congress and the BJP and the blame game definitely continues, it seems like ensuring such crimes do not happen is the need of the hour. With video journalist Govind, this is Deepak Bopana for NDTV.
Karnataka's caste census report completed in 2016 for 169 crores will be presented to the state cabinet, stirring political waves. This long-delayed report could reshape reservation policies and electoral strategies. Its release has sparked controversy, with the BJP questioning its methodology and impact, making it a pivotal moment for social and political dynamics in the state. We're going to move on now to some other news. In Telangana, KTR has accused Chief Minister Revanth Reddy of a 10,000 crore scam involving 400 acres of deforestation near Hyderabad, alleging illegal land mortgaging and a conspiracy. He's vowed to seek CBI probes. Reddy's government, silent today, insists that the land is legally theirs for IT development, citing rulings of the court. After protests, a Supreme Court stay halted tree felling, with a committee formed to address concerns.
BRS Working President K.T. Ramarao has demanded a probe by central agencies into what he calls a 10,000 crore rupee scam linked to the development of 400 acres in Kanchegachibowli near the University of Hyderabad. The BRS has alleged that ICICI Bank had sanctioned payout against mortgage of what he calls forest land without verifying land ownership details. KTR says a BJP MP, who he did not name, was involved in helping Chief Minister Revanth Reddy.
The government immediately wanted to sell it off and make money, etc., raise money. Now, what they have done is a huge financial mismanagement and a fraud, because the 400 acres of land, technically as per the government's stand, belongs to revenue. Now, they have on paper transferred it to TGIC, but they have not completed the formalities.
The Congress says there is no violation of any kind, as the land belongs to the government, it is not forest land, and the money raised was to be used to fulfill welfare promises made by the ruling party.
He clearly showed his burning problem about in his burning issue inside him, that the state government of Telangana is trying to fulfill all the welfare promises with whatever the money they procured from the ICICI Bank.
The Supreme Court had made scathing remarks on the Telangana government and ordered a stay on felling of trees at Kanchegachibowli, questioning what it called compelling hurry to send in JCBs for denuding vegetation from 100 acres, and asked if an environment impact assessment had been done and all requisite permissions had been taken from multiple agencies. The 4th of March is when the government of not just Union of India but states were also given the instruction that give us a idea of how many forests or forest-like areas are there, and the state government was clearly told that you must not, in the 6 months that the report is to be given, not even an inch of land, none of the percentage of forest land should disappear. But what you can see here is all this area that's cleared. There is rock there, there's a neem tree there. The government is in fact denied that this is any kind of a forest land. On the Kanchagachibauli forest land parcel, with camera person Nagraju, Uma Sudhir, NDTV.
Protests over the Waqf Act took place in several locations across India today. In Mumbai, there were demonstrations which erupted following Friday prayers, with community leaders voicing opposition to the Waqf Act. In Kolkata, students from the Alia University staged a protest expressing concerns about the implications. In Jaipur, demonstrations were held in various parts of the city as well. In Srinagar, protests were reported in the region, with participants expressing disapproval. In Ahmedabad, protesters blocked roads and raised slogans. In Chennai, in Tamil Nadu, there were demonstrations. Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu as well, and also in Bengaluru, where Muslim organizations held protests against the bill. But it's time now for us to take a short break. More news coming up in a few minutes. Do stay tuned. China retaliates to US tariffs, sharply increases tariffs on US goods, raising them to 125% in a retaliatory move. Amidst the intensifying trade conflict, President Xi Jinping declares that China remains undeterred and unafraid of the ongoing tensions. The decade-old Karnataka socio-economic survey report has been tabled before the state cabinet, but it's not been discussed. A special session on the 17th will discuss it, but observers asked if it is still something that matters. 5, including a minor, have been arrested after an interfaith couple was attacked in Bengaluru. The man was physically assaulted. The woman in a burqa threatened. The Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis expresses his satisfaction with the extradition of Tahawwur Rana. He's affirmed the state's commitment to fully cooperate with the National Investigating Agency.
Brought to you by Canara Bank. Together we can.
More news that matters.
Big exclusive. Tulsi Gabbard.
All the parties should accept their verdict with all humility.
Why the opposition to it? Why taking big steps?
More debates that
In Kolkata, thousands of sacked Bengal SSC teachers escalated their protests today, marching to the School Service Commission office and launching a relay hunger strike. They're demanding reinstatement after the Supreme Court cancelled 26,000 jobs because of a recruitment scam. Clashes with the police and political blame games continue, with no resolution in sight for the embattled educators. The Bengal Education Minister met the protesting teachers today, assuring them the government's support. My colleague Sreyashi De spoke exclusively to the minister.
Today the meeting was very successful, regarding which our Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has committed to protect the eligible and deprived teachers in Netaji Indoor couple of days back. So in this kind of thing, I think accordingly we have seated with them and we are trying to protect their job for the eligible and deprived. They demanded two things basically. One, we said that we will take the legal consultation. Then we can, I think, but I am hopeful that we can do it. That number one, they need the mirror image. First they need which is the list of the who are actually eligible and non-eligible. So according to legal consultation, I think SSC will approve it. And number two, about the scanned copy, the mirror image. The mirror image, this also from the CBI, which the images they have, scanned copy SSC have. they can also publish it. There is no problem.
So you're just waiting for a legal go-ahead to publish
Without legal consultation, I can't do anything because we don't want to any contempt of Honorable Supreme Court.
So you're assured that you can differentiate between tainted and non-tainted candidates who appear?
100%. SSC already identified it, and they will upload it in the consultation of their lawyer.
And when is the review petition expected, sir?
Very, very soon. I think we will talk, and I'll let you know.
So what is your message for all the protesting teachers out there?
I must say you, depend on Mamata Banerjee, our Chief Minister. Believe only her, trust her, and go back to your school, do your job, and wait for the review petition, kindly.
Thank you for speaking to NDTV. So you heard there the West Bengal Education Minister speaking to NDTV exclusively, talking about what the government's roadmap ahead is to break this logjam with the teachers who were dismissed after the 3rd April verdict by the Supreme Court. With GD Shankar, Shreyashide reporting for NDTV.
India successfully conducted trials of a long-range glide bomb which was dropped from a Sukhoi 30 fighter bomber of the Indian Air Force. The 1,000-pound glide bomb hit targets with pinpoint accuracy. The Gaurav glide bomb has been designed and developed indigenously by entities linked to the Defence Research and Development. It can hit targets close to 100 kilometers away, and that has been demonstrated. Adani Defence Systems, Bharat Forge, and various medium and small-scale industries have been involved in the development of this system, with the Defence Minister also lauding its development. Tensions soared as Trump and Xi's tariff war escalated, with China having hiked duties to 125% against America's 145%. Global markets plummeted, the dollar weakened amidst uncertainty. While President Trump called Xi smart and deal-ready, Beijing courted India and the EU, the European Union, urging cooperation. Neither leader budged, neither Xi nor Trump, leaving the world bracing for economic fallout. Did they compromise or deepen the crisis?
U.S. President Donald Trump's on-again, off-again tariff plan has triggered a brewing trade war that continues to escalate between Beijing and Washington, threatening the global economy with catastrophic consequences. While warning that Beijing is not afraid of the challenges, China upped the ante on the Trump administration, raising tariffs to 125%, hitting back at the U.S.'s 145% tariffs. While the world breathed a sigh of relief after Trump halted his sweeping tariffs on all countries, he raised the stakes on Chinese President Xi, accusing China of disrespecting the U.S. with its retaliatory tariffs. Despite flared tensions, Trump called Xi a smart guy who wants to make a deal.
President Xi is a man who knows exactly what has to be done. He's a very smart man. He loves his country. I know that for a fact. I know him very well. And I think he's going to want to get to a deal. I think that's going to happen. We'll get a phone call at some point, and it'll be off to the races. It'll be a great thing.
Beijing has repeatedly said it is open to discussions with Washington, but Trump has made clear President Xi must be the one to make the first move, something the Chinese leader has been unwilling to do. Instead, Beijing is reaching out to other major economies, including India, the EU, Spain, among others, urging that countries need to cooperate to ride out this looming trade war. While both leaders are waiting for the other to blink, global markets continue to spiral downward amid the uncertainty, with the US dollar also falling to its weakest yet at the end of one of the most volatile weeks for shares in modern history. While countries across the globe are rushing to the dealmakers' table,